It is impossible to talk about the present state of Japan's economy without reference to渋沢栄一. This leading entrepreneur of the Meiji period was involved in the founding of nearly 500 companies, spanning a wide range of industries, including banking, insurance, paper manufacturing, textiles, urban infrastructure, and brewing. Anyone living a consumer life in Japan will inevitably benefit from the products or services he was involved in. When he was 27, he traveled to the 1867 Paris Expo, as a member of the Tokugawa shogunate's envoy. They also visited other European nations to learn the secret of the great powers. During this visit, he was impressed by the potential of capitalism to promote development and create wealth. At the same time, he detected the problem inherent in capitalism. Since it is a system driven by the desire for wealth and success, it could end up a race to the bottom. If we do our business with no regard for others, the disadvantages of capitalism far outweigh its benefits, so we have to effectively alleviate its risks and harm. He believed the alleviator was morality, and he wrote the Analects and the Soroban to articulate how to strike a balance between the pursuit of profit and ethical restraint. What was his view on commercial ethics? To make the world a better place, what should business be like? Is the pursuit of profit inherently good or evil? This is an intriguing question. Whether in the East or the West, there has always been a tendency to view making money as controversial. In Confucianism, the common view has been that one must not aspire to make money, if he or she wants to be a noble person. However,渋沢said that we got Confucius wrong. He wrote, "You will never find such remarks in any chapter of the Analects. First of all, we cannot provide goods and services necessary to run a society, without our desire for wealth. It is a fact that we will not fully commit ourselves, when we feel that success or failure has nothing to do with our happiness and fortune. On the other hand, one can easily lose oneself at the prospect of gain or loss. If we adopt a mindset of, as long as I'm better off, others don't matter, capitalism immediately backfires. What defines Homo sapiens is mutual trust and cooperation. Our success as a species has come from dividing labor and supporting one another. This is also the essence of the market economy. A market is a place to exchange value based on trust, and money simply serves as a tool to facilitate mutual contributions. When the desire for money becomes excessive, it begins to erode the very foundations of a healthy capitalism. In short, the desire for profit itself is not evil, or even necessary to some extent, but we need to properly regulate it, with empathy and morality. There is nothing wrong in itself with launching an enterprise and working toward financial success. There is nothing disgraceful about making a profit through business. However,渋沢said, no enterprise can be seen as righteous, unless it brings benefit to society. We can never praise a business that makes one individual successful, but drives the majority of society into poverty. One of the most prominent entrepreneurs of his time was Iwasaki Yataro. He is the founder of Mitsubishi Group, one of the three largest zaibatsu in pre-war Japan. At a dinner meeting, Iwasaki suggested to渋沢, "Together, you and I can control the direction of Japan's commercial sector."渋沢took the proposal as an attempt to monopolize wealth, and left the meeting with indignation.渋沢had been doing business with the sole intention to enrich the nation and make people's lives better. One of the phrases from his book that represent his thoughts is as follows. An enterprise has to be what brings benefit to society. In order to contribute to the greater good, the business has to develop robustly and operate continuously. In other words, his business philosophy was opposite to the typical understanding of profit. His goal wasn't to generate profit and then donate a portion of it to society. The ultimate purpose is to benefit society, which requires the enterprise to rise and be sustained, for which profit is necessary. Seeking profit is indispensable in business, but it is merely a means to the end, not the end itself. Inequality has long been a big issue of human societies since the advent of agriculture and the rise of large-scale communities.渋沢also articulated a clear stance on this issue. He wrote, "The wealth gap is inevitable at any time in any era. In each era, some industries have greater potential to raise capital and make profit than other industries. Individually, some people have more aptitude for business than others, and some capabilities have higher demand than others in the labor market. Therefore, it is inevitable that the ability to accumulate wealth differs among individuals and companies." He also wrote, "We work hard every day, precisely because we wish to enrich the nation and prosper themselves. Wealth gap is a natural byproduct of that, so we have to accept the fact that human society cannot help but entail some extent of disparities. At the same time, however, we should not just give up and let it persist." He insisted that it is a duty for a thoughtful person to remain mindful of the relationship between the rich and the poor. Moreover,渋沢adds, "Billionaires build their fortune not only by themselves. It is totally wrong to believe that wealth belongs solely to you, no matter how you have worked hard to achieve it. A single person is so helpless that he or she can do nothing without others. Put it another way, wealthy people earned money thanks to the support from society. The wealthier they become, the more they owe their success to society, so the rich inarguably have a duty to give back to society, by charities, and so on. To generate the goods and services essential to our lives, we must harness our desire for wealth and success, and it entails inequalities by necessity. On the other hand, we must not forget for a single moment that wealth never determines one's value, and everyone is equally worthy of a life with dignity. We all should pursue a world where everyone can have a life worthwhile, regardless of their economic conditions." What is success in life?渋沢wrote, "Success or failure is nothing more than the residue of sincere effort, and it is not worth our concern." He told readers, "If you lack inclination for effort, you will never grow and progress regardless of your age. A nation that is supported by such lazy people will not develop and flourish." As for effort, he addressed the importance of making it a daily habit. Working hard temporarily on a whim is never enough, only lifelong learning can bear fruit. For example, it is too late, if you neglect your health in everyday life, and rush to the hospital when you get seriously ill. Similarly, it is essential to make steady effort on a daily basis, and an opportunity to make such effort lies everywhere, not only when you are at your desk, but even within the use of chopsticks.渋沢himself treated anybody with his greatest sincerity and consideration, and he did likewise even when he read letters and so on. He believed that we only need to take care of what we have to accomplish every day, and just satisfy ourselves by fulfilling our duty. In other words, what truly matters is not shallow success or failure, but whether you sincerely dedicate yourself to the work and responsibilities right in front of you. After all, long-term success tends to follow those who live with such integrity and commitment. He concluded the book with the following message: "Temporary success and failure are like bubbles in the long river of a meaningful life. However, if the majority seek for such bubbles, and can only talk about immediate success, the future of our society will not be promising. You should sweep away such a shallow idea, and live a fulfilling life in relation to society. Get out of the perspective of success and failure, stay independent and indifferent to such things, and continuously make effort along the right path, then you can live a far more meaningful life, than one only valued by success and failure."